Hi guys, my name is Steve B. Uh, just looking forward to talking to you today. I was talking a little bit the other day about loneliness, and I thought I'd share a little bit more my feelings about it, and in particular, my life and how it applies to me. Um, Going back as a little boy, oh my goodness, I was afraid of my own shadow. I was shy as could be. I felt like I was all alone in the world. Even if people were with me, or I had a couple of quote unquote friends, and I always had a couple or a few, always. Um, the my thing was, it's like I still felt like all alone with the thoughts in my head, and I had some pretty whacked out thoughts as a young kid. Um, just talking about my childhood was a very volatile household that I grew up in, and when I was little, like in grade school and stuff, and I had my siblings and I had my parents who were fighting all the time. They were constantly at each other's throats, and I was this little boy who was terrified. I was terrified in that house, and I felt like, believe it or not, I was a little kid, and I still felt like it's my fault that they're not getting along. It's my fault that they're always unhappy. It's my fault. Everything was my fault. I don't know why I thought that. I think because I was put down so much as a kid. I took a lot of verbal abuse um, as a young boy, and it started really rearing its head when I was in about fourth grade. I was in fourth grade. I couldn't sleep at night. I never slept, and I felt like I got nobody. Nobody would understand me. I don't know how to calm down. I don't know how to relax. I don't know how to be okay with everything in the world. Because I didn't feel okay. I felt like I don't know what's going on, and I thought I need help, and I had nowhere to go for it. My parents didn't understand. I tried talking a couple of times to them, and they didn't get it. They didn't get it, and looking back, it's like, well, they were young too, and they got this kid that doesn't know how to deal with life. Well, like I said, I just felt like I'm lonely. That's my lot in life, and I was a nervous wreck because of the arguing and bickering constantly in the house. It was like I didn't like it. I didn't like anything about my life. You know, there were I go back through the years and stuff like that, and I think of all the people that I've come to know and grown to be friends with, and like new, and I have to tell you, that was the hardest time of my life. I thought I belonged in a mental hospital. I honestly did, and I, like I said, I had nowhere to go with it. So I would go to school during the day, go through the rituals or whatever I had to do, go through the BS at home. I had no peace. I had no peace. And I went for years and years and years and years without peace. That was fourth grade. When I got to I don't know, eighth grade, then I discovered drinking. 14 years old, I discovered drinking, and that was my favorite thing in the world. It was my best friend, a bottle. And what it did for me, it made me feel like I mattered. It made me feel like part of the world, like I'm not scared anymore. It took all the fear away. It it was what I lived for. It was what I had lived for. This is what I was waiting for. And when it came, alcohol became my god. It became my savior. It became my everything. And it did so for, you see, 14 years old. It did so for 20 years. You know, it did so for 20 years. I quit drinking at the age of 34. And honest to goodness, it was the greatest thing in the world, learning sobriety. But to digress back a little bit more, yeah, alcohol, it was like, give me that liquid God. It was like I was drinking God, you know, and it did for me what nothing else in the world could do for me. And when I was in that drunken state, I was happy. I was happy, and it was a lot of fun in the beginning. You know, my favorite part about drinking was, you know, when we used to go out in groups to taverns and stuff like that, you know, and a bunch of us, you know, and that was the main order of business was drinking. I was going to do it. We were all going to do it. And I was very young and naive, and alcohol was at that time, it didn't turn on me. It was my best friend. You know, it took place over every single person, every place, and everything. Alcohol was on the pinnacle of everything. It was the most important thing in the world. And I'm not gonna lie, in those years I had a lot of good times. Going to dances, going to clubs, going to listen to music, going to get drunk. And it alcohol did all that for me. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know how to be a person living without it. So I didn't know how to be a sober person, and to be honest with you, it was not part of my plan. You know, I could not see my life without alcohol in it, and so everything I did, you know, was circled around alcohol, and all my plans, whatever I was going to do. If I was going to go to a concert, I was going to drink. If we were going to go out to eat, I was going to drink. If we were going on vacation, I was going to drink. It was part of my everything. It was part of everything I did. And you know, so all right. Fast forward a little bit more. I still felt lonely. I felt like I had no friends in the world. My only friend was the bottle. You know, I kind of pushed everybody away that wanted to be a part of my life. And if they did, I'd find a way to sabotage it so they weren't anymore. And did that for a long, long time. You know, and I went through various jobs and stuff, and you know, drinking still was at the helm. Wasn't until I think the year 1984, I had a big fight with my first wife, and it's like, I'm going out. I'm going away for the weekend. I didn't know where I was going, but I was going to go look for some fun. So I went to the package store. I got a half a gallon of orange juice, and I poured all that vodka into that half a gallon of orange juice, and proceeded to suck it down. And I did that. And what did I do? I had it somewhere. But I think I blacked out real early, and I ended up somewhere far from home. I don't remember going into the place. I don't remember doing anything. I don't remember leaving. I honestly don't. I don't remember getting back in the car. But apparently, got in the car, got on the highway somehow, and started heading somewhere. Don't exactly know where. You know, I don't remember what happened in that club. I don't remember leaving the club or getting in the car or heading out on the highway. It's a fact that happened, though, because my very next thing was, I remembered, well, if you want to call it remembered, I came to, and a cop banging on the window and getting me out of the car, and I don't remember doing any kind of test for DUI or nothing like that. I don't remember, but I must have, because I was ripped. I passed out over the freaking steering wheel, and I was totally ripped. And you know, I must have done the DUI test and failed it, because they threw me in some jail cell for overnight. They take your keys, they take your license, you know, and they throw you in a can with a bunch of other people. That's all I remember, was a lot of other people, and that's the first time I was ever in a jail cell, ever. So this was new to me. So anyway, I don't know, it must have been making noise or something in there, like, what's going on? Can I get out of here? What is this? What's going on? And somebody in the jail cell said to me, don't worry about it. You'll get out in the morning. They'll give you your license back, your car, your keys back. And that's what they did in those days. You know, nowadays you get a DUI, the automatic 30 days suspension. Now, back in those days, yeah, they give you your keys. They tell you, yeah, your car's been impounded. It's at such and such a place. I had to get it out of impound. That cost me money. I don't, you know, I had to go to the classes that they had. I had to do that. I don't know if there was a dozen classes or something like that, but I had to go to those, and that cost you money. I'm sure it's a lot more now, but back in '84, it was like, that ain't cheap, you know. And you had to go; it was mandatory. So I went to all those classes, did what I had to do. I didn't tell my wife that I got a DUI. They ended up calling her one day and saying, oh, your husband's DUI. And that caused another big freaking problem. Dishonesty. You know what? The beauty of it is, when you stop drinking, man, you don't have to do those stupid things anymore. You know, but going back to there, you know, like they call alcoholism the disease of the lonely. You know, because, you know, in the beginning, like I was telling you, I love the camaraderie and hanging out with your friends and getting a little tipsy and, you know, sharing, and everything's exciting, and, you know, you're everything's great. But in the end, it ain't like that. It's just not like that. In the end, it's not like that at all. Yeah, it isn't like that in the end. In the end, all I had was severe depression. It will bum me out, and if I was bummed out and I drank, I get more and more bummed out, and it turned on me. It wasn't fun anymore. It was not fun. You know, and I count my blessings that when I did come in, I came in at the end of 1993. No, in the end of 1992, I'm sorry. And the very end, because it was the holiday season, you know, it was Christmas and New Year time, and I always made New Year's Day my my anniversary. And where I was when the last time I didn't even drink that day, but it was a New Year's Eve. I went to a party with some of my acquaintances over in Fairfield County, and it was a New Year's party, and there was a lot of people there, and we had a big old circle in the end, and I held my little champagne glass, and I remember everybody, you know, like was gonna ring it in by taking a sip of that, and I remember putting that champagne glass down, and that was it, man. I knew in my head I was never gonna drink again. By the grace of God, I was never gonna drink again. And that was a long time ago, and I'm still sober. Good days, I got bad days. I got, you know, I've heard it said that I have good days and I have learning days. The learning days are as important as the good days. Yes, they are, because they're going to teach me probably so much more than the learning days. I want to remind you guys, please click onto this, give it a like onto this channel, and give it a like and give it a subscribe. And God bless you guys. Love you all.